during the Great Recession, uh, California actually extended unemployment to an unprecedented 99 weeks, which was nearly 2 years of unemployment benefits. Additionally, when you apply for unemployment, you get established in the EDD's unemployment system. So they have a record of you being in that unemployment system. And if for whatever reason you become unemployed again in the future, you would have a much easier time accessing those funds. PUA is a one-time program and probably will not get renewed or a replacement for it. So that's a little bit of information about the two different programs. And UI is a standard program that drivers have access to as employees, while anybody who doesn't normally qualify for UI, those people would get filtered towards the PUA system. So UI employees, like drivers who have employee rights, not only just under AB5 and Dynamex, but even before that, versus PUA, you get filtered to PUA if you do not qualify for UI.
Okay. Well, thank you, Chris. That's great. What I wanted to do was give people a little bit of, show people a little bit of information that we have on the web for just this kind of thing. Let me go to sharing my screen. Here we go. So this is the Rideshare Drivers United webpage. It's drivers-united.org. And if you go there, you'll see it's the second banner down. It says California Drivers Crisis Resources page. Go there. And then the first link on that page is our guide for unemployment. Okay, so click on that. And this is a page that we're updating as often as is the reason to update it. A lot of what Chris was talking about, you'll find why we're saying UI is better than PUA, completely understanding that some people can't wait. But here's a lot of the facts and figures are in that link that says a quick guide. Here's how much the benefit pays, how early will the benefits begin, how long can I be paid, all this stuff is here, as well as some of the other information about differences between UI and PUA. So I hope this is helpful for people. That's where you can find the information. I wanted, there were a couple questions that came in regarding PUA versus UI. One is, how do you get the maximum 450? To get the maximum 450 either in PUA or in UI, you have to be making $11,700 in a quarter for UI. And for PUA, your annual net average has to be $11,700 per quarter. So it's a little bit different figure. Thank you for that question. People are asking what time should we apply for PUA. What I can tell you is that their website, it's the regular EDD website, will be open starting at 5:30 tomorrow morning. So don't bother signing in at 1 in the morning. Their whole site is going to be down until 5:30 in the morning. And PUA is based on your net for 2019. It's not based on your gross, and it's not based on your best quarter in the last 18 months. So, so looking at those things too can really impact your financial stuff. So I'm going to stop sharing here and go back to our discussion. Al from San Francisco wanted to explain his experience. He, like many others who applied for UI, received a zero benefit. This does not mean they denied you. So Al's going to tell you why that happens and how to deal with that issue. Al, take the floor.
Hi, everyone. I know we all get panic when we got zero after when we did apply for the UI, which is employment insurance. I did apply in March 15th and I was waiting. After that, I get a letter. The first one I was excited because it says that's your debit cards from Bank of America, the info. So I said yes. After that, I opened the next letter and it was showing the big zeros in all, you know, my benefits. So I said, what's going on? But as Nicole said, zero, it's bad thing, but it's a good thing. It's you're not denied. You are just misclassified by your employer, or they did not get info from your employer about your about your money. That's what it is. So what happened is after when I apply and I get zero, that time they have option to do appeal. Now it's not. It's something different. I'm gonna show you with Nicole in a little bit. But when you, for me, for my case, I did the appeal. I sent it to them. After that, they called me from the EDD office to verify my income. I know a lot of you, they did not receive the call because it's high volume calls. They called me 3 times. I sent them all my 1099, the miscellaneous one, and the K, and they said they're gonna send it back to the UI office. They are from ADD, but they are from the text editors, but they're gonna send it to the UI claims office. So I sent them that, and they clearly let me know about what did they hear about from me. Yes, I deserve benefits, and they're gonna calculate it, and they're gonna send it to the UI office, which is Employment Insurance Office, and they are the one they will decide if they're gonna send me the benefits or not. For the PUA claims, which is everyone waiting, you know, the question about BUA claims, I'm gonna apply. For me, I will not apply for the PUA claim unless if something happened in the next week or the next 2 weeks and I'm in emergency need that money. Yes, I'm gonna go and apply for the PUA claim because it's gonna be valid and they're gonna pay me since March 28th, my 600 plus what I deserve for 167. But for me, my experience, I would not apply for the PUA because I know for sure it's less, it's temporary, and I deserve the UI claim, my employment insurance claim, to be pushing forward. So if you guys got that zero, Nicole, she gonna share with you how you go in our website and how you deal with it. Can you
Yeah.
just, Nicole, please open it for
Sure.
us?
Here it is again. This is drivers-united.org, which is our website, which you're probably familiar with. Go to the crisis resource page and go to visit our guide on unemployment.
Did
Nicole,
you
you need
share
to
it?
share it. You need to share it
Nothing.
on the screen.
It's not,
Yes,
oh,
please.
it's not sharing yet.
Not
Sorry,
sharing.
guys. Thank you. Share. I did everything but touched the last button. Okay.
There we go.
Okay, sorry about that. So drivers-united.org to the crisis resource and then to our unemployment resource page. So right when you get here, as you go down the site, we have the details on how to file. We have frequently asked questions. We have, I was certified, but my benefit is zero. How do I fix that? So it's all here. You know, that's because Lyft and Uber ignore the law. It's not because you're not qualified. And by getting a zero benefit and not a denial, EDD is actually saying that to you, that you are qualified for unemployment, but we have to verify your income because Lyft and Uber don't give us that information. So the things you have to do, file a correction through the website of EDD, and it walks you through that, including text that you can put into their stuff. And then here's how you file the correction that Al was telling you about. via US mail. This piece of paper, it's stretched kind of funny here, but this is the one that says your notice of unemployment insurance, and it has all the zeros down here. Cross them out and put in what it really should be, which you've probably already given them in your application. Put proof of that, such as your 1099, your 1099K in MISC, and send it to this address, whatever address they gave you, okay? So
yeah, that's very important. Every letter, it has their own address. Don't send it to the EDD general mail address. Send it to the one you have in your note, in your letter. Go ahead.
And also a quick point, you'll find that notice that Nicole was showing on the screen, the notice of unemployment insurance award, that'll come a couple weeks after you file online, and it'll come in a packet of 3 notices: a notice of unemployment insurance claim, a notice of unemployment insurance award, and an EDD customer account number. So you'll take the middle one, the second one, the notice of unemployment insurance award, and like Nicole said, send it to that address on the letter.
Okay, very good. So thanks everybody. I'm gonna go to our next person, Tammy Jean, who's also applied. She and your son both, I know, have applied. And so you know the process inside and out. Can you talk about how to prove to EDD how much money you actually earned?
Okay, hello everybody. Yes, I've also applied it for my sister as well. So I've been in and out of this many times. And I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. Just a moment here. Okay, so a couple of things. When you're applying, of course, we've talked about the 0 benefits and everything, but let's talk about actually applying for it, which is you go to our webpage. We have a how to apply. Scroll down here to how to file for unemployment. We have helpful guides here that will help you go through finding your information from Uber and finding your information from Lyft. When you are putting in the information into unemployment insurance application, they want your money in quarters. They want to know what your income is in quarters. So these 2 processes are going to help you find that information by quarter. It's actually 3 months at a time with Uber, and it's going to be a weekly with Lyft. But these processes are really easy to read through and find your way. It actually gives you a step-by-step way to find the information. It's important that you do this because, let me reiterate something that Chris said earlier. When you're filing for unemployment, your reward or award, as they say, is based on your highest quarter. So you're going to be filling in quarters for 6 quarters. That's 18 months of information. So for mine, my highest quarter was the last quarter of 2018, which gave me the full high benefit. Also, when you are looking at unemployment insurance versus PUA, unemployment insurance, like Chris said, is dealt looked at by gross, not net. And something he didn't mention, I know he mentioned gas and all these other things, but the other thing that's taken out is all those fees by Uber and Lyft, booking fees, their percentage, airport fees, all those things decrease how much you can actually qualify for on the PUA. So let's say you make $4,000 a month and you put 3 months together, that's $12,000 a month gross. But after you take all those fees and everything away, your net is somewhere down here. You're not going to hit that threshold of getting total benefits of 450. Because if you, when you go through and look at your information, you're going to say, wow, this is my gross, but this is my net. Filing for regular unemployment insurance, your gross is going to be so much higher, and you're going to hit that level where you can get the highest benefit with unemployment insurance. So there's the processes here for finding your unemployment insurance. I'm going to be changing out these worksheets for an actual spreadsheet. It's going to help you a little better. And then down here we have the step-by-step guide. It takes you step-by-step for your applying into unemployment insurance claim. So I'm going to leave it at that and leave some time for some questions to be answered. Thank you very much.
So there's a few questions on here I'm going to answer real quick. One is to just clarify. People are saying, a lot of people are asking if I have zero benefit, should I apply for PUA tomorrow? You know, if you need money right away, nobody is mad at you for having to do PUA tomorrow, but you have been qualified for UI and you will get a long-term help from UI. And so if you go through our process of challenging the $0, we hope you can do that. We know not everybody can. So the other thing is, if you have already challenged your zero benefit, the guidance in the EDD page says to stick with UI and to not file for PUA because they already have you on a process to verify your income and give you UI, okay? And there's a few other questions in here just real quick. Some people have asked, if I still have my part-time job, do I need to file for unemployment for Uber? And if the majority of your income was Uber, absolutely apply. If you made more than 17,000 something, it's like $17,500 with Uber and Lyft last year, in addition to another job, you should file for unemployment insurance. Because that piece of your income went away, you may be entitled to unemployment insurance, so apply. Better to try to get that benefit because Lord knows it's hard when you lose that income. Let's see. Here's Mr. Jackson is saying, I started getting the $600 weekly from UI. Should I stay or do the PUA? If you're already receiving $600 through UI, do not apply for PUA. You can only get the UI benefits, and then that's all you can get. You can't then also get PUA, right? The $600 is something, whether you get PUA or UI, you will get that. The minute you have a benefit of $1 or more, you will get the $600 in addition through the end of July, okay? Let's see. Just to be clear, again, where you find this information is on our website, which is drivers-united.org. And then it's the resources for the crisis and the UI, which is our first link in there. Okay, just checking. So I'd like to invite Alvaro to speak. Alvaro, I know you know a lot of the questions that drivers are asking. So please feel free to talk about some of the questions that are coming up on your site and some of the good answers to those. You're muted. Hang on, you're muted.
Okay. Okay, can you hear me now? So I just wanted to, because somebody's saying if somebody can translate what we're saying in English and in Spanish. So I speak Spanish. If somebody has like a Spanish question, I'll be more than happy to answer it in Spanish. So si alguien tiene una pregunta en español, por favor hágala en español y con gusto yo se las traduzco. Yo sé que es mucha información para traducir ahorita y se va a confundir, pues si tienen alguna pregunta en español, háganla y con gusto se la traduzco. So the question that I've been getting a lot is, so what you're saying, Nicole, is drivers, we can qualify for both, for PUA and unemployment, regular unemployment. It's either one of them, no? So it's just unemployment or PUA. That's a question they're asking because somebody's saying if I'm already getting unemployment, can I still apply for PUA? So the answer is no.
No, if you get unemployment, you cannot get PUA. If you get PUA, you can't get unemployment.
Right.
And the thing about that is we know that the PUA will dry up at the end of the year. And you may, if you had applied for UI, you would still be eligible for UI into the new year, and you wouldn't be eligible because the PUA program would be over. So that's one of the reasons that long-term UI, but we all understand that some people may end up applying for PUA because you need money this week. And it's going to take a while for them to figure out how much money you actually made and how much your benefit is if you.
So can drivers apply for PUA and later on in the future apply for unemployment? Like
not
No.
in this year. Mm-mm.
Yeah, not this year.
Oh, yeah, because that's the question that people are asking. So I wanted to talk about my personal experience because I had a W-2 job, and I actually went inside the EDD and applied for unemployment. You know, because as you know, we're not doing anything. We have a lot of time, you know, to be playing with the computer. And it's so funny because I was trying to apply. I mean, it took me like 5 minutes to finish the whole process, and I was like, why people they're saying that it's so complicated, but now I understand why, because Lyft and Uber, they never report our earnings. My company, since they were reporting everything and paying everything to unemployment, all the numbers were already there. I didn't have to calculate anything. I was just clicking next, and the numbers were already there. That tells you how bad Lyft and Uber are, that they make our life more complicated.
Yeah, just to buffer that point for a second, the reason why all employers are supposed to send your income earnings every time you receive a payment every 2 weeks, like your paycheck or your pay period, and send that information to the EDD, and it's all electronic. So if you have a regular job, like Alvaro said, they already have your information in the database. So if you need to apply for unemployment, it's there. Think of it, unemployment, almost like a savings account that you don't pay attention to. And when you need that money for a rainy day, then you can go and collect it. Well, the problem with Uber and Lyft is, even though they're supposed to pay into that, and they're supposed to pay into that rainy day account, they don't do it. They refuse to do it. And as a result, when something like a pandemic happens and you go to try and collect it, it takes a lot longer, or not a lot longer, but it takes a while to get that information and to figure out how to figure out what your wage income is. So that's why that process can take a little bit more time, but that doesn't mean you don't qualify for unemployment. So just make sure you know that unemployment is there, supposed to be there for drivers as well. It's just Uber and Lyft aren't doing what they're supposed to do, and that's why there's some delays with that.
Okay.
And that's why we are here to help.
I'm gonna kind of like say it in Spanish what we've been saying, kind of like a resume. I mean, like give me like a summarize of what we've been saying in Spanish. Ahorita me acaba de dar una pregunta. Uriel está diciendo que dónde apelar si agarró la carta que dice 0. Si tú agarraste una carta que dice 0, lo que tienes que hacer es mirar en el sobre, porque en el sobre está la dirección donde tú tienes que mandar las 1099, los 10 99. Te vas donde Lyft y Uber y sacas todos tu ganancia de todos los meses y los calculas por cada 3 meses. Con Lyft es un poquito más complicado porque ellos lo hacen por semana, eso te va a tomar un poquito más de tiempo, pero si tú te vas a Rideshare Drivers United.org, nuestra página, ahí te dice paso por paso qué tienes que hacer y mandas todas esas formas. Los 1099 se los mandas a la dirección. Asegúrate que lo mandas a la dirección que te llegó en el sobre por correo, mandas las cartas que dicen 00 y así tú apelas al desempleo, porque sí calificas para el desempleo, pero tienes que apelar a esa decisión. Como estaba diciendo Al, el de camisa blanca, que él está haciendo ese proceso, y yo conozco a otros conductores que sí les aprobaron el desempleo y nada más hacen Lyft y Uber como su trabajo de tiempo completo. El PUA significa que es una asistencia extra que están dando ahorita, que son, el mínimo son $167 más $600 del estímulo. Pero para eso vas a aplicar mañana para el PUA, el programa del PUA, o puedes quedarte con, si tú ya recibiste la carta que dice 0, el consejo que te estamos dando es que te quedes con la carta que dice 0 y apeles a eso, apeles a esa decisión, porque es mejor el desempleo que el programa de PUA, porque el programa de PUA es nada más como unos 2 meses de largo. El desempleo es 1 año de largo. Eso te conviene más el desempleo. Y una recomendación que estamos haciendo es que te quedes con la carta que dice 0, y es la recomendación que el Departamento de Desempleo le está dando a las personas que, si ya recibieron la carta que dice 0, que apelen a esa decisión, porque sí califican para el desempleo, y que no apliquen para el programa de PUA, que es una asistencia que están dando para ahorita, más los $600 que te dan el gobierno. Pero te recomendamos a que apeles a la decisión que te mandó la carta que dice 0, mandes todos tus ingresos, porque eso es lo que el Departamento de Desempleo te está mandando una carta que dice 00, porque Lyft y Uber nunca reportaron nuestros ingresos. El Departamento de Desempleo tiene 0 ingresos de nosotros, y el Departamento de Desempleo te está mandando una carta que dice 0, prácticamente diciéndote, ok, tú me estás aplicando que trabajaste para Lyft y Uber, pero no tenemos ningún récord. So, es tu responsabilidad sacar todas las copias de los 1099, todas tus ganancias, y mandárselos a ellos para que ellos tengan esa prueba de que tú sí has trabajado con ellos.
Okay, thank you, Alvaro. There's one question up here I wanted to make sure I answered. One of them, somebody's asking, if I work for both companies, do I choose one or the other? Very important question. Actually, all of your jobs qualify you for UI calculations as well as PUA calculations. So all of your 1099s, all your MISCs, all your Ks. And I know for me, they don't even send me a 1099. They make me get something, tax information right out of the app that isn't a 1099. Use all of those and use for your earnings, because you want to get the maximum, and all your jobs make you qualify for as much money as you can get. I would also add that if you have a W-2 job, so if you work where you actually get taxes taken out, Social Security automatically taken out, and you receive a W-2 at the end of the year, then that's a real employee job that you're not misclassified in. It's absolutely, the state knows about it. Apply for UI. And when it comes back, if it's not the maximum, if it's not 450, and it should come back quickly, because if they're filing W-2s, the state has all your information, then you wanna also go through the same 0 process that we showed you on the website, because it will help you can send in your 1099s from Lyft and Uber or in other jobs like that, and they will add that to your money, right? So so that's really good. So anytime you have a W-2, you're supposed to file with UI. If, and the recommendation of EDD is that if you're a misclassified employee, which is what we are, because under the law, we're employees, though Lyft and Uber don't follow the law, which is why we're misclassified. If we're misclassified, we're supposed to file UI, right? So it is a better way, but it's not as fast a way to get your money. Are there other questions that have come up? I see, Alvaro, there's a Spanish question, if you want to take that one. Or did you already answer it?
In the chat.
Okay, very good. It looks like we have more than 380 people following us right now. Thanks everybody for taking the time tonight. So somebody is asking, how long does the appeal process take? I mailed my appeal April 10th and have not received a call, email, or a follow-up letter. So Al, I know you filed on the 15th of March and you filed your appeal. When did you file your appeal?
I got after 10 days, I got my respond and I did the appeal, and the respond after 1 week. I want to mention they will not reply to you with a mail. They're gonna call you. So look for the numbers, the one it's private numbers or 916, 917. This is usually people, they're gonna call you. Make sure it's not fraud. You're always free to ask them to give you your address and your last four from your social security, like what I did. After that, I realized that they are from the EDD, and I was talking to them. So make sure no fraud. Ask them about your address. Ask them about how much you get as a word, and your email because it's right there. And ask them for the last four for your social security. They will give you an email, and you can reply with the email with your income and your all 1099 and everything. So it takes me, they working hard, but there is something I want to mention. There's some people, they apply as employees. So the people apply like employees. This is the one they get faster, with the tax editor and EDD. The one he applied the employment insurance as self-contractor. That's we're supposed to be not put self-contractor as our option when we did apply for the employment. I don't know if the PUA is gonna have that option if you misclassified by your employer, if that's the scenario tomorrow for the application. I know you can drop all your question in our page in Facebook for Rideshare United, or for the Bay Area Rideshare Driver United San Francisco Bay Area. We're gonna answer your question because the application, we know they're gonna need your 1099, your ID. It's gonna be from the same EDD website. It's like you applying for the UI. It's gonna be same thing, but it's gonna be a PUA claim, which is Pandemic Employment Assistant.
Yeah. So there's a couple other questions up there I just wanted to get to real quick. One is about certification. So once you apply for UI and you're waiting for them to verify your income so that they can award you the money, they start sending you these things every 2 weeks called your certification. You have to certify that during that 2 weeks that you were available to work, and that you were so basically, if you have your app on your phone, you've been looking for work, and if you're willing to take a telemarketing job from home, you're able to work. Okay, so you can answer those questions well. But the question here was, how do I certify? I wasn't able to certify the first couple of weeks because they've been having problems with their website. They're actually allowing people that they don't have to send those back every 2 weeks for the certain period of time. That those dates are on the EDD website. So when you open it and you find the website about EDD, about unemployment insurance, they'll show you that and they'll tell you when you have to certify. But after that date, make sure you send in your certification every 2 weeks, because that's how they decide whether or not to send you money for those 2 weeks.
I just want to throw out the dates here.
Oh, thank you.
It's weeks ending from March 14th through May 9th. So if the week ends after March 14th, or if it ends before May 9th, that's the period. March 14th to May 9th is the period when you don't have to certify immediately. You'll have to go back and certify those weeks later on, but for right now, you don't have to certify to get your money in. Certifying is just a common process, and it's going to be both in unemployment insurance and PUA. Before you actually collect the payment for your week, you have to answer a couple questions, and it usually takes only a couple minutes if you do it online, or you can technically do it by mail too. But right now, that's temporarily suspended for the weeks between March 14th and May 9th.
So Ms. Red Cloud asks to clarify the amount you can qualify for under PUA aside from the additional 600. I thought the max was 167. So that's a really good question, because when we first heard about the PUA, they said that they were just going to give everybody 167 plus 600. As they've worked through that, people in PUA will also be able to receive up to 450 based on their earnings. But again, in order to get the 450, they have to go through the lengthy process of verifying your earnings. And so at first, you'll only get the 167 plus 600.
I want to add something. 167, that's what they called it, phase one.
Oh, yeah.
So after 12 days, when you get your benefits, 167 plus the 600, if you think 160, it's not your thing. You need to, it's something like with the appeal, we didn't know about it, but you will see it in our website. After 12 days, you need to send your 1099, and you can get up to 450. Thanks, Nicole.
And I'm going to pile on top of that, just to reiterate that with PUA, that's the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance, it's going to calculate off your net, not your gross. And so to achieve that threshold of making more up to 450 is going to be a lot harder than it will be with unemployment insurance, regular unemployment insurance, because they're going to take off all this money that is taken out by Uber and Lyft, plus all of your expenses and everything. So to hit that threshold of making enough net to get the maximum benefit is going to be tough. Sticking with the unemployment insurance is going to be so much better for you. It may take a little longer, but it's going to be so much better for you.
Let me give a brief example on that, right? So if you have, say, a quarter, and you made $1,000 in that quarter gross, that's just whatever money you got from the ride payments for whatever the passenger paid for Uber and Lyft. That's the gross earnings. Now let's just take, most people file their taxes in a way they call taking the standardized deduction, which just means that instead of listing out every single thing you spent money on during the year, you just say, all right, this is how many miles I drove, and that's how much my expenses were approximately. Well, if it took you, let's say, 1,000 miles to get that $1,000, 1,000 miles driving, and right now the mileage rate is 58 cents. Well, that means your cost, according to how you file your taxes, would have been $580 to earn that gross. Unemployment would base it off of the $1,000. PUA would base it off of 1,000 minus 580. So that's kind of the difference. It can be a dramatic difference. And with drivers, we have so many expenses that our net earnings is always going to be drastically lower than your gross. In most cases, it's going to be, in some cases, it can be a quarter, 25% of what your gross is, what your net is after all your expenses. So that's just something to keep in mind, that using the gross earnings calculation with unemployment is always going to get you a higher calculation for your benefit amount than the net earnings amount.
Nobody's mentioned that maybe you'll never get off that 167 mark at all, no matter what you send in, because the amount of money that Uber and Lyft take, just as what they call their booking fees and their other things, plus I know a lot of you know that they take more than their share a lot. All that is taken out before your net. and before all the rest. So you're going to have a hard time getting off that $167 mark.
I just wanted to tell everybody, because there are a lot of people who are just joining us and they're asking questions that we already answered, and they're saying that why we're not answering their questions. So this video is gonna stay up so you can rewatch it later on. And because the question that they're asking is, should we apply as an employee or as an independent contractor? And I'll already answer that question, that we should definitely apply as an employee, especially here in California, because we have AB5. The other question is unemployment for 26 weeks. Does anybody know the exact answer for that? I have never gotten employment.
So 26 weeks is the normal period for unemployment insurance. Because we're in the pandemic period, the federal has helped us to expand it to be 39 weeks, which is equal to how long the PUA is. However, the state of California is known during recessions to extend unemployment benefits. They've extended it as long as 99 weeks, which is almost 2 years. So that's one of the reasons that unemployment insurance may, in the long term, be better for you. I know it's not better for you for March 1st, but it's definitely better if we end up having a huge economic crisis, that your benefits would probably be extended even beyond the 39 weeks, because that's what the state of California does. So local, I hope I'm answering your question, you know, because it's usually 26, absolutely. The feds have helped us to expand it to 39, but it may even be longer than that.
I just
PUA will not.
Okay.
Okay.
I just want to finish what Alvaro said. Yes, if you go UI and put it as a claim, you will not be eligible if you are a self-employed. That's simple, and that's what it is. We apply for UI claim because we are misclassified as employees. And if there is in the PUA, which is the one we're gonna see tomorrow, and all the time EDD mentioned, and the governor and everyone in EDD mentioned, if you misclassified from your employer, you can apply for the PUA. So if there is an option tomorrow, we will see it says, if you believe you misclassified, that's the option, the one we're gonna use. If there is a self-contractor or employee, for me, I'm gonna choose an employee. Go ahead, Nicole, thanks.
Yeah. Well, I wanna, we're getting towards the top of the hour, and our plan is to wrap up at this time. There's one more question. Isn't Lyft tax summaries show net earnings, unlike Uber tax summary docs that show gross earnings, less expenses, detailed breakdown? Tammy, can you answer that, please?
Yes, when you're looking at your weekly summary, you need to go to the second page. It'll say gross, what the rider paid. That's your gross earnings, not that little fancy number at the very top of the first page. Scroll down to find, you'll see it on the second page, upper left-hand corner says gross, what the rider paid. That's your gross amount, not on the first page, because it says net on the first page right next to the number. Go to the second page to find your gross.
Okay. Carl, you're asking, you're moving back from Las Vegas to San Diego. Can I file in California? I think you have to file in the state that you earned the money in. Okay. So I don't know what the rules are in Nevada. So, so there you go. So I want to say we're getting to the top of the hour. I mean, we're Rideshare Drivers United. We're drivers, we're working together. We're now 15,000 drivers strong in California, and we're continuing to grow because drivers know that if we're by ourselves, they can do whatever they want to us. But when we work together, we can fight and we can win. We helped really push the state to recognize us as employees through AB5 passing. And these are the fights we're going to continue to have until we force Uber and Lyft to recognize us as employees. Because when we have basic labor rights, we not only have the rights to things like unemployment insurance, which, you know, if you have a W-2, you'd have your benefits like that. But you also are making at least minimum wage, and you're making, your expenses are being reimbursed to you. These are things that really matter. And it's why we're working together, because if we do, we can fight. And I couldn't be more proud of, you know, my brothers and sisters here and all of you watching, because we have made so much progress because we've raised our voices. Why do you think they even talked about it in Washington, D.C. when they're talking about the economic crisis we're in right now? Why do you think they even included the word gig workers? It's because gig workers are fighting back. We're in the streets and we're going to get what we know we deserve. It's not like these jobs don't matter. These are important jobs. It's a profession, and they need to treat it as such and not just as some kind of throwaway job where people don't have rights. So I hope that everybody who has the economic strength to file for UI will do it tonight. You know, no judgment on people that have to do it a different way, but we know that long-term, this is gonna be better for you. And that's why we're trying to help people get there. I don't know if everybody else wants to say something in closing, but I'd like to wrap this up.
No, you did a great job, Nicole. All I want to say is I'm really proud of getting to work alongside drivers who are fighting for the best interests of drivers, fighting for the rights of drivers, fighting during an unprecedented time where we have probably the greatest public health crisis in a generation, and drivers wouldn't even have access to some of the resources that we have access to, the few resources we do have access to, even though they're companies like Uber and Lyft are trying to keep us out. And we got that because we fought. And so I just want to tell guys, I know that with UI, it's tough because when you apply for it and you see that $0 award, it can be demoralizing. But just like we had to fight for AB5, and just like we had to fight for all the other rights we had to fight for, this is something you have to fight for too. And like Nicole said, absolutely no judgment if you have to do PUA. We understand, you know, rent's coming up, bills are coming up, but if you can, fight for it, because UI long-term is better for you. And we deserve to be treated just as well with the same rights as any other worker. We should not be second-class citizens. Drivers are just as important to this country and to our state of California as any other worker.
I want to say thanks, everyone. I was 5 years fighting for our rights, and every time when I was doing protests by San Francisco, everyone looked at me and he said, "Are you gonna fight Uber?" And guess what? Yes, we did. And yes, we get the AB5. Yes, as Nicole said, everybody recognize us right now. Now we are in San Francisco and the Bay Area. We are the newest branch for RDU here in California. If you have that passion and you want to continue the fight, I was telling my friends right now, the history, it's two parts. People, they reading the history, and people, they making it. If you want to be one of people they making the history, we are welcome. You can go to our webpage, and you can go, we have a Facebook page. It's Rideshare United San Francisco Bay Area. We help each other, and we're gonna continue the fight. We reached that point because we are together. So welcome everyone, and we will continue the fight. Thanks, Chris and Nicole and Tammy and everyone in the call.
And hang on. I know this is not an easy time for people. And there's so much change and so much concern. I really want to just plead with drivers, if you can, get out of your car and stay home. Too many drivers have been exposed to this virus, and your lives are important. So I just want to, you know, encourage people to support each other and hang on. We're going to get through this because we're fighting together.
Right.
All right. Well, thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye. Bye.
Be safe and healthy.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.